Did you know that the single most praised superfood in your kitchen, the one doctors and nutritionists have told you to eat for years, could actually be working against your medication and putting a massive strain on your internal organs right now? It sounds absolutely counterintuitive. We are talking about the avocado. For millions of Americans over the age of 60, this creamy green fruit is considered the holy grail of heart health. But here is the uncomfortable truth that mainstream health magazines rarely put on the cover. For a specific group of seniors, perhaps including you, eating avocados isn't a health boost. It can be physically toxic. If you're managing specific chronic conditions, taking blood thinners like Warfarin, or dealing with unexplained digestive distress, this superfood might be the silent saboteur undoing all your hard work. And the most frightening part of this puzzle isn't the reaction itself. It's that the symptoms are completely silent or disguised. You might be blaming your fatigue, your racing heart, or your headaches on just getting older, never realizing that the danger is hiding in plain sight, right there on your breakfast plate. The reality is that the medical community has known for decades that food-drug interactions are a leading cause of preventable hospitalizations in the elderly. Yet the specific dangers of healthy foods like avocado are rarely discussed in the brief 10 minutes you get with your general practitioner. So, we need to set the record straight right now. We are going to strip away the marketing hype surrounding this fruit and look strictly at the biochemistry. In this comprehensive video, we are going to reveal the 3 specific categories of people who must eliminate or drastically reduce avocado intake immediately. But please do not panic. I am not here to strip away all the joy from your diet or leave you with an empty plate. I know that for many of you, avocado is your primary source of healthy, satiating fats. That is why if you stay with me until the very end of this presentation, I am going to share 3 safer, scientifically superior alternatives to avocado. These are nutrient-dense options that provide all the brain-boosting and heart-protecting benefits you need, but without the toxic risks of histamine overload or medication interference. We are going to show you how to swap the danger for safety, so you can enjoy your meals with total peace of mind, knowing you are truly nourishing your body, not fighting against it. The 3 silent dangers. Now let's navigate through these dangers one by one. I want you to listen closely to these categories because the difference between a superfood and a toxin often lies in your personal medical history. We are going to look at the 3 major warning signs that indicate your body is rejecting this fruit. 1. The vitamin K conflict, for those on blood thinners. Let's start with the first group, which represents millions of seniors in the United States. If you're watching this, there is a high probability that you or someone you love is currently taking an anticoagulant medication, commonly known as a blood thinner, like Warfarin, Coumadin, or Gentovin. You know the drill. You have to go in for regular blood tests to check your INR levels, which measure how fast your blood clots. It's a delicate balancing act. You might have days where you feel perfectly fine, but your doctor calls you in a panic saying your numbers are out of range, forcing a frantic adjustment of your dosage. You wonder, what did I do wrong? I took my pills exactly as prescribed. You might feel frustrated, scared of a potential stroke or internal bleeding, and completely confused because you haven't changed your routine. Well, the culprit might be that guacamole you had at lunch or those slices of avocado on your morning toast. Here's the biological mechanism that is causing this chaos. Blood thinners like Warfarin work by inhibiting the action of vitamin K. Think of vitamin K as the clotting key in your body. It helps thicken the blood to stop bleeding. The medication is trying to remove the key to keep your blood flowing smoothly. The problem is that avocados are incredibly rich in vitamin K. A single cup of sliced avocado can contain up to 22 micrograms of this nutrient. When you consume a large amount of avocado suddenly, or if your intake fluctuates wildly from day to day, you are essentially flooding your system with the very antidote to your medication. You are actively fighting against the drug. The avocado boosts your clotting factor, rendering the warfarin less effective. This creates a terrifying seesaw effect. If you eat a lot of avocado on Tuesday, your blood might become too thick, increasing the risk of a clot or stroke. If you stop eating it on Wednesday, your blood might suddenly become too thin relative to your increased dosage and put you at risk of hemorrhage. It's not that the avocado is poison in isolation. It's that, in the context of your medication, it acts as a powerful pharmacological antagonist that destabilizes your protection against heart attacks.
This is not anecdotal evidence. This interaction is well documented in clinical pharmacology. The National Institutes of Health, or NIH, and the Food and Drug Administration, or FDA, have both issued specific guidelines regarding the interaction between vitamin K-rich foods and Coumadin. Furthermore, a case study published in the prestigious journal Nutrition documented incidents where patients with previously stable INR levels experienced a drastic, dangerous drop in anticoagulation efficacy immediately after increasing their avocado intake. The science is clear. The chemical composition of the fruit overrides the chemical composition of the pill. That is a serious risk for your cardiovascular system. But the second danger is even more insidious because it attacks the very organs responsible for cleaning your blood. 2. The potassium paradox for those with compromised kidney function. Moving on to the second silent sign. Do you ever feel a strange, heavy sensation in your chest, or perhaps a sudden fluttering heartbeat that takes your breath away? Maybe you experience unexplained numbness or tingling in your fingers and toes, or a pervasive sense of weakness in your muscles that makes climbing stairs feel like climbing a mountain. If you are over 60, your doctor may have mentioned that your kidney function is slightly lower than it used to be, a condition known as chronic kidney disease, or CKD, which is rampant in the senior population. You've been told to eat healthy to protect your kidneys, so you reach for the avocado, but in doing so, you might be accidentally poisoning yourself. This is what we call the potassium paradox. In a perfectly healthy young body, potassium is a hero. It helps regulate fluid balance and muscle contractions. However, avocados are a potassium powerhouse, containing nearly 700 to 900 milligrams per fruit. That is more than twice the amount found in a banana. As we age, our kidneys, our body's filtration system, naturally become less efficient. For a senior with stage 3 or stage 4 kidney disease, the kidneys lose the ability to filter out excess potassium from the blood. When you eat an avocado, that massive load of potassium hits your bloodstream. And because your filter is clogged, it has nowhere to go. It accumulates. This leads to a condition called hypercalcemia. It sounds technical, but it is deadly. High levels of potassium in the blood interfere with the electrical signals of the heart. Instead of beating in a strong, steady rhythm, the heart muscle becomes erratic. This isn't just heartburn, it is the biological precursor to a cardiac arrest. You're essentially overcharging the electrical system of your heart with every bite. The National Kidney Foundation explicitly warns patients with restricted renal function to limit high potassium foods, placing avocados at the top of the watch list. A study published in the Clinical Kidney Journal highlighted how often hypercalcemia is diet-induced in the elderly population, noting that healthy diets rich in plant-based potassium can inadvertently lead to life-threatening arrhythmias in patients with asymptomatic kidney decline. It confirms that what is healthy for the general population can be toxic for the renal-compromised senior. So we have covered the blood and the kidneys. But the third warning sign is one that most people dismiss as just allergies or old age, when in reality it is a chemical reaction happening in your gut. Now let's talk about something that might happen to you immediately after a meal. Have you ever enjoyed a nice avocado toast or a salad, and then, about 30 minutes later, you start to feel Off. Maybe your nose starts running out of nowhere, or you get a sudden throbbing headache behind your eyes. Perhaps your skin feels itchy, flushed, or warm to the touch. Or maybe you experience sudden digestive distress, bloating, stomach pain, or urgency that you can't explain because you ate clean. You might think, I must be developing seasonal allergies, or maybe that bread didn't agree with me. But if this happens consistently, it is likely not the bread, it is the avocado. This brings us to the issue of histamine and tyramine. Most people think of histamine only in terms of pollen or bee stings, but histamine is also present in food. Avocados are unique because they contain high levels of tyramine and histamine, especially, and this is crucial, as they ripen. The softer and darker the avocado, the higher the histamine load. Here's the problem for seniors. Inside your gut, there's an enzyme called DAO, diamine oxidase. This enzyme's job is to break down the histamine you eat so it doesn't enter your bloodstream. As we age, or if we have compromised gut health, the production of this DAO enzyme often drops significantly. This creates a histamine intolerance. When you eat that ripe avocado, your body doesn't have the scissors to cut up the histamine molecules. As a result, the histamine floods your system, causing an inflammatory response that mimics an allergic reaction. It dilates your blood vessels, causing low blood pressure and headaches, irritates your nerve endings, causing itching, and disrupts your digestion. You aren't allergic to the avocado protein itself, you're being poisoned by the excess histamine that your aging gut can no longer handle.
The science behind this is fascinating and often overlooked. Research published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition has identified avocados as a high biogenic amine food that can trigger adverse reactions in individuals with DAO deficiency. Furthermore, experts in geriatric gastroenterology suggest that pseudo-allergies caused by histamine intolerance are significantly underdiagnosed in the elderly population, leading to years of unnecessary suffering that could be resolved simply by eliminating high histamine triggers like aged avocados. Now that we have exposed the hidden dangers lurking inside this popular fruit, the risks to your blood thinner medication, the silent threat to your heart rhythm, and the inflammatory histamine trap causing your daily discomfort, you are probably staring at your kitchen counter with a mix of betrayal and confusion. It is a heavy realization to digest. You might be asking yourself the very question that is burning in the minds of everyone watching this video right now. Doctor, does this mean I have to give up on eating healthy altogether? Is my body just too fragile now to enjoy the foods I love? Am I sentenced to a diet of bland, cardboard-like food just to stay safe? It feels unfair, doesn't it? You tried to do the right thing, you listened to the trends, and now it feels like your own biology is working against you. But I want you to take a deep breath and listen to me very carefully, because what I am about to say is the most important part of this entire message. The answer from the forefront of nutritional science is a resounding, confident no. This is absolutely not a sentence to a life of deprivation or fear. In fact, what we have just done, identifying the trigger, is the most powerful step you can take toward reclaiming your vitality. Your body is not broken, it is simply communicating with you. It is incredibly resilient, capable of repair, and constantly striving for balance. It doesn't need superfoods that fight against its current chemistry. It needs the right fuel that works in harmony with your unique stage of life. The truth is, nature is incredibly generous. For every food that might cause a problem, there are 5 others that offer the exact same benefits: the creamy texture, the heart-healthy fats, and the essential vitamins without the toxic baggage of histamine overload or potassium spikes. You do not have to sacrifice flavor for safety. We are about to pivot from the problem to the solution, and I am going to hand you the keys to a diet that actually protects you rather than endangers you. We have arrived at the most critical moment of our conversation. You now understand the risks, but I promised you a path forward. We are going to replace the danger with security.
I have curated 3 specific, scientifically superior alternatives that mimic the best qualities of the avocado: the healthy fats, the creamy texture, and the nutrient density, but without the vitamin K overload, the potassium spike, or the histamine trigger. Here are the 3 safety swaps you can start using today to blind-proof your health. The Warfarin Safe Fat Source, macadamia nuts, the superior alternative for blood thinner users. If you are missing the rich, buttery satisfaction of an avocado but are terrified of disrupting your INR levels, the macadamia nut is your new best friend. Macadamia nuts are a biological marvel for seniors on anticoagulants. Like avocados, they are composed of 75% monounsaturated fats, specifically palmitoleic acid, which is incredible for insulin sensitivity and heart health. However, here's the crucial difference. While avocado is packed with vitamin K, macadamia nuts contain trace amounts, almost zero. You get all the lipid benefits for your brain and arteries without handing your body the clotting key that fights your medication. The key here is moderation due to calorie density, but the satisfaction is high. Swap your morning avocado toast for a macadamia butter spread. You can buy it or make it simply by blending raw, unsalted macadamias. It's creamy, rich, and totally safe for your medication routine. It allows you to keep the ritual of a creamy breakfast without the fear of the phone call from your doctor. The renal-friendly superfood, blueberries, the superior alternative for kidney protection. If you are eating avocados for the antioxidants and fiber, but need to protect your aging kidneys from potassium overload, we're swapping the green fruit for the blue gem. Blueberries are often cited by renal dietitians as the #1 fruit for kidney patients. While avocado loads you up with nearly 700 milligrams of potassium, a half cup of blueberries contains typically less than 60 milligrams. That's a massive difference. But you aren't just subtracting the bad, you're adding the good. Blueberries are packed with anthocyanins, powerful compounds that have been shown in clinical studies to lower blood pressure and reduce the oxidative stress that damages the nephrons in your kidneys. You're essentially switching from a fruit that clogs your filter to a fruit that helps scrub it clean.
Instead of slicing avocado into your salad, toss in a handful of fresh blueberries. They add a pop of sweetness and texture. Or, if you miss the creaminess of a smoothie, use frozen blueberries as your base. You get the fiber and the brain protection, and your kidneys can finally relax. Number 3. The histamine-free anti-inflammatory. Extra virgin olive oil, EVOO, the superior alternative for gut sensitivity and histamine intolerance. This is the ultimate swap for those of you suffering from the headaches, congestion, and digestive distress we discussed earlier. If the problem with avocado is that it sits and accumulates histamines as it ripens, high-quality extra virgin olive oil is the antidote. It is a pure fat source that is generally low in histamines and tyramine. But the magic ingredient here is oleocanthal. This is a natural phenolic compound found in olive oil that mimics the effects of ibuprofen. It suppresses the same inflammatory pathways, COX-1 and COX-2, that cause pain in the body. So instead of eating a food that triggers an inflammatory allergic response, avocado, you are consuming a liquid gold that actively calms inflammation down. It coats the gut, soothes the lining, and provides the necessary lubrication for digestion without requiring the heavy lifting from your DAO enzyme. Use this as your finishing fat. If you used to mash avocado on your sandwich, drizzle a generous tablespoon of premium extra virgin olive oil on the bread instead. You will get the moisture and the mouthfeel you crave. It is the cornerstone of the Mediterranean diet for a reason. It keeps the inflammation down and the flavor up, with zero risk of a histamine crash 30 minutes later. By making these 3 simple swaps, macadamias for safe fats, blueberries for kidney safety, and olive oil for inflammation control, you are not restricting your diet. You are upgrading it. You are moving from a one-size-fits-all approach to a precision nutrition strategy tailored for the unique chemistry of a body that has lived for over 60 years. Now, I want to turn this conversation over to the real experts on your health, you. I want you to take a moment and reflect on what we discussed today. Did any of these warning signs ring a bell for you? Maybe you've been battling those mysterious headaches after lunch and never connected the dots to the histamine in your avocado.
Or perhaps you're a caregiver for someone on Warfarin and you've been struggling to keep their numbers stable. Please scroll down to the comment section right now and tell me which of these 3 silent signs surprised you the most. Or, if you have already cut avocado out of your diet, what changes did you feel? Your story is not just a comment, it is data. It is validation. When you share your experience, you help someone else scrolling through the comments realize that they aren't imagining things, that their symptoms are real. Let's build a library of real-life experiences right here below this video. And this leads me to a favor I need to ask of you. Not for me, but for the people you care about. Think about your circle of friends, your siblings, or your neighbors at the community center. How many of them are trying to eat healthy? How many of them are blindly following the avocado trend while taking blood pressure medication or blood thinners, completely unaware that they might be putting their lives at risk? If this video revealed something new to you, please click the share button and send this link to them via text, email, or Facebook. You aren't just sending a video. You might be saving them from a trip to the emergency room. You could be the reason a friend finally understands why their digestion has been off for years. Be the guardian of your circle's health today. If you found value in this deep dive, if you appreciate that we look at the biochemistry and not just the trends, then welcome home. This channel is dedicated to navigating the complexities of health over 60 with truth and science. So make sure you hit that like button to let YouTube know this information matters. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and click that little bell icon. Why the bell? Because health warnings change fast, and I want to make sure you are the first to know when we release a new alert, not the last. Don't let the algorithm decide your health. Take control by turning on notifications. Thank you for investing your time with me today. Remember, aging isn't about decline, it is about adaptation. It is about getting smarter with every meal you eat. But here's the catch. Avocado is not the only healthy imposter hiding in your fridge. There is another extremely popular superfood, one that you probably put in your smoothies or salads thinking it's building your bones, that is actually secretly robbing your body of calcium and causing kidney stones at an alarming rate. You won't believe what it is. I explain everything in this next video appearing on your screen right now. Click here to watch it immediately, and let's keep blind-proofing your health together. I'll see you there.